joins me for the call of this 2-mile. You see the indoor records and that American record set a couple of years ago, potentially in play here. But notable, Laura Muir is back, having won a Wanamaker mile in her career, now moving up in distance because she wants to run the World Indoors at a longer distance.
She needs a time qualifier. She was originally going to run the mile, but she's decided to switch to this 2-mile to get that qualifier. And what we know about Laura Muir is that she is a competitor, Paul. She finds a way to win. So exciting to have her in this race today.
Any competition for her today?
A little bit. In the name of Alicia Munson from the United States. She loves this track. She set the American record here last year in the 3,000 meters. She wants a medal at the Olympics, and she believes the faster she can get in these shorter distances, the more of a chance she'll have to kick into one in the 10,000 meters later this year.
American records galore for Munson last year. You mentioned Laura Muir at the start of the broadcast, got that silver medal in Tokyo, and trying to fit in. You know, there's a lot of expectation even in an Olympic year to compete at that World Indoor Championship because it is in Scotland.
She said it's literally 10 minutes from her house, and so she feels like she needs to be there and represent. She's happy that it's a straight final in the 3,000 meters. She says she'll sub it for a workout. She'll run the World Championships instead. So we'll see her today get that standard.
See Nikki Hiltz, record holder in the mile outdoors, as the athletes get ready here for the start of their race. Casey Lightfoot, third attempt here, trying to stay in this pole vault competition. He is out at 3 misses at 19.5. Chris Nielsen will have one more attempt upcoming. That's the delay for the start of this race. Kara, this atmosphere, spectacular for every event, but these distance races very special, and I think the proximity of these fans, like right on top of these athletes, really help the athletes perform at their best.
Absolutely, they can feel that energy, they take it in, they use it. That's why we get such great competition at this meet.
Try not to get false starts at 2-mile.
Everyone's a little antsy. They need to take a deep breath and just step up to that line. Plenty of time to work things out in this race.
Yeah, behind in that second line was the 19-year-old Medina Asa of Ethiopia, who we saw run last week in Boston. So some youngsters getting some high-performance racing opportunities here on the boards in the United States. This will be set up to be fast. We're going to say that every time we have one of these events the remainder of this broadcast. So we'll have pace setters out in front. Lori Barton out of Clemson, South Carolina, is going to ask to get this pace started. Going to just kind of click off every 2 laps, about 68 seconds, and just kind of keep the rhythm going. But we are going to start to see single file lines here as everyone tries to find room to run. Everyone
wants to get in on that rail and have a nice smooth ride to the finish. We know it's going to be rabbited well. You mentioned Nikki Hiltz at the beginning there in that blue speed suit there. They've never run a 2-mile. This is the farthest they've run in a really long time. We know Nikki as the 1,500-meter U.S. outdoor and indoor champion. They've decided to step up in distance and see what they can do.
So Munson leading that group that includes Muir, Hiltz.
And Paul, we see Munson, she always goes straight to the pacer. She is just a grinder. She's going to hit it from the very beginning and ride this whole thing out and draw this. I wouldn't be surprised if when the pacemaker drops, she's the one that really continues to push this pace. She absolutely has the American record in her sights. That's held by L.A. St. Pierre of 9 minutes and 10 seconds. And that definitely is in the back of her mind right now as she's running.
They went through the first quarter mile in 68 seconds. Again, that is the prescribed pace. You see Barton looking at her watch. Wudu behind Muir there in 4th. Set the World U20 indoor record last weekend in New York at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. Behind Hiltz, Emily Mackay out of Endicott, New York, ran very well in Boston last week. So we're, you know, it's a year where you have to decide, how am I going to use indoor for the bigger stages ahead? But we've already seen performances all over the map even from people who aren't going to try to make a world indoor team, that suggests that everybody is ready for an Olympic year.
Oh, absolutely. You see Courtney Wayman, who just ran by on the screen. She's a steeplechaser, but she ran a huge personal best a couple weeks ago in the 5,000 and ran under that Olympic standard. So indoors is a chance for people to run up and down in distance. We see a lot of the 10K runners running shorter distances. We see a lot of the 1,500-meter runners running up. It's a chance to really work on your different skill sets and work on your weaknesses.
As Barton brings them down, still plenty of racing to continue. We're going to step aside, but you won't miss a thing. Continuing coverage here from the Armory, and we'll return for the finish in a moment. Action continues at the Armory here in the 2 mile. The pace setter Barton has stepped off the track, so Munson now going to drive this train, and it's single file heading down the back stretch.
You know, they're perfectly on American record pace right now, 4:35 through the mile. She's going to have to find a half second or a second in the second half to get that, but I don't doubt it from her. She's such a great runner, and we see Laura Muir just so relaxed, tucked in that second position. You know, she's here to ride this train, get her qualifying mark for the World Championships, but she loves to win. So I think we're going to see her really fight for the victory towards the end of the race.
And behind those two, the 2 teenagers from Ethiopia, Asa and Wudu, and then Nikki Hiltz. What does a race like this do for Nikki on the road?
You know, it's a good information gathering system, right? Nikki said they've been focusing on their strength training a lot. Obviously, they're more 800, 1,500 meter runner, but it's just a good indicator. They'll learn a lot, they'll learn a lot from this experience, and they'll be able to apply that moving forward.
They are losing contact a little bit with that top 4 as Tanaka of Japan comes alongside Hiltz. Now Nilsson, 3rd attempt to try to keep this pole vault going at 19.5. Oh, good effort, but he catches it on the way down. So that result now over. Nilsson will be the winner on the countbacks on misses. Lightfoot finishing 2nd, both clearing 19.1. Women's high jump going to be the other field event we'll have for you as they're getting their warm-ups done. Meantime, this conclusion with 1,000 meters to go, 5 laps of this 200-meter track, and this is the opportunity now for Munson. Going to be buoyed by this crowd as well that knows and appreciates the effort that has to be put in to take down an American record.
You know, we're seeing a little show on Munson's face. We don't normally see anything from her. She does look like she's definitely working hard, which she is. She's really pulling this entire train, and the other women are happy to sit behind her. She's not afraid to lead. She's not afraid at all, but she's going to have to squeeze it down just a little bit and find a couple seconds in these final laps.
So with 4 laps to go, Muir, again, just looking for a qualifying time for her ticket to Scotland, now gets passed by the 19-year-old Wudu, and this is going to be a good battle here over the last 3.5 laps.
You know, we saw these youngsters last week at the New Balance meet running so fast. and we know they're fit. They want to get in on this race. We see Munson checking the screen, checking to see who's with her. What do I need to do in these last few laps to separate myself?
So with 3 laps to go, on to the backstretch. Munson, Wudu, Asa, and Muir.
We saw Munson look up at that screen to see who is still with her. She is so focused, and this is where she's so good. She's so good at just grinding it out, not being worried about who's behind her, not getting caught up in that. But we see Laura Muir now starting to move out. As I said, she is as competitive as they get, and she will find a way to find herself near the front.
Wudu took a look over her shoulder and says, oh no, here comes the Olympic silver medalist at 1,500 meters, finds another gear, passes Wudu and passes Munson and into the lead.
And look at Laura Muir. This is how she's won her Olympic medal and her World Championship bronze medal. When she goes, she goes. She is so powerful. The way she just punches the air and just pushes through. Her form is really like no one else's. She is just, you can just see it. You can physically see the power in her stride.
At the bell, Laura Muir trying to hold off the 2 teenagers from Ethiopia. As Asa now the only one to be able to stay into contact, as they're going to come up on a little bit of traffic now. That is Chrissy Gear, who won the American steeplechase title outdoors last year. She gets past Muir and Asa into the home stretch. Muir going wide, Asa going wider, and it's the teenager taking the win, and that's a quick win at 9:04:39. That's the fastest 2-mile ever at the Armory.
That was an incredible race, Paul. We also saw an American record out of Munson. She stayed strong in that final 200, kept her form together and slides under the American record. But what a race out of the teenager.
Yeah, we were waiting for that official time to be confirmed, as Asa 9:04:39, Muir with a new national record in 9:04:84, and now confirmed Munson new American record 9:09:70.
You know, this is interesting. We don't normally see Laura Muir give up a little bit. You can see she kind of gave up there and turned it off, and I think she's just realized she was going to get beat. There's no point in pushing all the way through. I'll save that for the World Championship in a couple weeks' time, but this is rareness when you see Laura Muir be outkicked.
Well, Asa took 9 seconds off her lifetime best at 3,000 meters. Goes a little bit longer this week. That 3,000 was in Boston last weekend, and look at that result.